Yeah. I include yours.
Yes. So you guys, how are you doing from home? As we are here, we're fighting hard to know this little biology, which will save your life in the future. Teacher James Peter, just here in the northern part of Uganda right now. Just want to say hi to you and learn this simple thing. Thank you. So we want to talk about urine formation today. You know that for us to form urine, we use the kidney. Isn't it? Use the kidney to form urine. And that functional part of the kidney is what we call the nephron. Before we form our urine, the first thing we need to know is we need to first know the structure of the nephron. This is the structure of the nephron. The nephron consists of a afferent vessel which receives blood from the general circulation, and a afferent vessel which takes blood away after filtration has taken place. Then there comes a dense network of capillaries called the glomerulus. Then behind the glomerulus, what all the glomerulus is called the Bowman's capsule. Bowman's capsule. Then that space after the glomerulus inside the Bowman's capsule is called the capsular space. Then as we descend down, we find the proximal convoluted tubule. And here we find the lobe of Henle. It forms a lobe, so we call it lobe of Henle. The word, when you're writing Henle, you write Henle using a capital letter. Reason being, it is the name of a person. So we write in honor of him, so we use capital letter. Then as you are seeing up, we find the distal convoluted tubule, the DCT. Then as you go further, you find the collecting duct. So the collecting duct, this is the final part of the kidney. Having known the structure of the nephron, we can now go and describe urine formation. Said urine formation occurs in how many stages? 2 stages. That is ultrafiltration and selective reabsorption. Ultrafiltration refers to filtration under high pressure. Selective reabsorption occurs by the help of simple diffusion or simple diffusion, and then active transport. So if we are to describe the process of urine formation, we need to begin by knowing the component of blood from the general circulation. In the general circulation, we have the blood from general circulation contains glucose, contains amino acid, contains salt, contains vitamins, contains water. We have proteins, we have platelets, we have red blood cells and white blood cells, etc. All this blood from the general circulation enters the glomerulus through the afferent vessel. we realize that a ferrous vessel has a narrower diameter compared to a afferent vessel. This creates high pressure, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then also increase in blood volume also creates high pressure in the glomerulus. This forces simple molecules or smaller molecules among the components of blood to enter forcefully into the capsular space to form the glomerular filtrate. So these are the components of blood. Realize that glucose, urea, amino acids, salts, vitamins, and water, they are small molecules. They are simple molecules. Therefore, they are able to pass through the wall of glomerulus and form the glomerular filtrate. Meanwhile, large molecules like proteins, platelets, red blood cells, and white blood cells are retained by the wall of glomerulus because they are too large and they cannot pass through the narrow walls of the glomerulus. After glomerular filtrate has entered into the capsular space, it continues to flow through the renal tubule. So as it flows through the renal tubule, it reaches the part of the tubule called the proximal convoluted tubule. In the proximal convoluted tubule, all glucose, all amino acids, all vitamins, some salts, some water is reabsorbed back to the bloodstream. Then for the case of glucose, its reabsorption takes place by the rate of simple diffusion and active transport. Whereas for the salt, its reabsorption occurs only by active transport. As you descend down, you come to the distal convoluted tubule, isn't it? When you come to the distal convoluted tubule, here, after removing amino acids, after removing all glucose, we are going to remain with this one here has already gone from the PCT, isn't it? This one has gone. Vitamins has gone, isn't it? We are going to remain with some salt. We are going to remain with urea. We are going to remain with water, some water, isn't it? So now, in the DCT, some water is reabsorbed back to the bloodstream. Some salts is reabsorbed back to the bloodstream. Urea is left. Is it okay? It is toxic. Cannot go back to the blood. It has to pass out. Is it okay? Then now, the renal fluid continues to flow until we reach the collecting duct. In the collecting duct, regulated amount of salt and water is reabsorbed back to the blood stream. We are going to remain with, after reabsorption of some water, actually regulated amount of water and salts, we are going to remain with excess salt. We are going to have excess water. We are going to have urea. Then we are going to have some heat. That's excess heat. Yes, we are going to have some excess heat. So these remaining components, excess heat, excess water, urea, and salt, form for us urine, which moves through ureter and finally passes out through the urethra. This is how urethra is written. My voice knows it better, it can easily be seen. That is briefly what urine formation is. Thank you so much. Wait for us for another video soon coming out. Thank you.